Hello there, my virgins, my Virgo collective sun, moon, rising sign. Welcome to your What Do I Need read for this full moon to new moon next. This full moon is the full moon I was born on. I'm a Virgo sun with a Pisces moon. So if you are new to my channel, welcome. I am your reader for the moment, probably one of many if you're a Virgo. Getting the data, right? Mark Angela Lyons, Mal for short. I know it means evil, but I'm down with it. And I'm up with that at the same time. It's been a real joy doing these. You are my last one for today. I'm actually doing this Tuesday before the full moon. Well, I guess it's the 10th, all right, tomorrow, September 11th. So I'm doing 3 of these a day to get them out before full moon. And the nature of these readings I find are very, very helpful for me personally. Because, you know, I will pull a card a day. I'll read myself every now and again. And when I ask questions about, well, how am I doing? And where is this? And what should I do? Which I've done for decades. I started reading cards when I'm 12. I'm 51. I just turned 51 last Friday. Truly a Virgo, actually a September Virgo. But I find what really works is to ask the divine, well, what do I need? Right? What do I need to look at? What do I need to think about? What do I need to focus on? What do I need to walk away from? What do I need to walk towards, you know? Trusting that there is that higher intelligence, higher than my own. Yes, I'm a Virgo that admitted something is a higher intelligence than me. It's called humility. We're good at it, though. So let's have some fun here. I blessed the decks already. Very lovely. You know, when I'm doing any of these readings that involve my own signs, which for Sun, Moon, Rising, that is Virgo, Pisces, Leo, in that order. I always get a little extra jolt because I can't help but be part of the collective, right? But thankfully, I don't usually see how it refers to me until afterwards. Very helpful. Maybe that's the Pisces moon. I go very non-linear, so I don't even get if there's anything personal in it until later. So it's my pleasure to do this for you today. And if you are new and this clicks for you, please like and subscribe. My channel is steadily growing. And go check out my back catalog. I've got a lot of stuff I did before I even started doing these readings online. So let's dive in, shall we? Take a nice deep breath. Gird your loins, Virgos. Cross your legs or uncross them if you really want to let this in. Here we go. My pantheon of angels, gods, and masters, please show us the dominant archetype for the Virgo Sun, Moon, Rising Collective for this full moon to new moon next. What do we need? What do the Virgo Collective Sun, Moon, Rising need to alchemize? What soul power, what archetype, what role is in play within us that will be the most dominant and the most beneficial for us to tune to and alchemize from this full moon to new moon next? Call Patty Smythe. It's the warrior. I am the warrior. Bang, bang. I will read what's written on that card at the end of the line. What we're doing is we're pulling 1 card each from the 5 decks I usually read. Sometimes I bring in others for clarifiers. All of it is in the description box below. Caroline Mace. Archetype cards, we're going to pull one from the Doreen Virtue Healing with Angels deck. So my angels, what do we need? Please give us 1 card for the Virgo Collective Sun, Moon, Rising signs from full moon to new moon next. What do we need, particularly with this warrior archetype? Please clarify. Oh, the warrior. Ooh, with blessings. Okay, with blessings. We like that so far. So a warrior of blessings, a warrior with blessings. What do we need? We need to be blessing warriors. I've been there. Virgos can be very badass with their blessings, right? High voltage and covert. You'll never know we're doing it. We'll never know we're silently blessing you, right? We're silently blessing people. It's fulfilling our function of service at least, and the blessings have to pass through our nervous system out into the world, so we get blessed as well. And it's not just about karma, it's about quantum. Just saying. Watch What the Bleep Do We Know? It's a movie, Marley Matlin, genius movie about quantum physics, and it's a docudrama. Go check it out if you can. Really good. You'll get what I mean. Infecting the quantum field with blessings. So now let's turn to the Daughters of the Moon Tarot, my gods. Now the god that sits in the throne of Virgo for me is Dionysus, my lifelong patron, my natal patron, the god of wine, the god of ecstasy. But let's keep in mind an earth god, mutable earth, the growing grapevine. So it is to you, my blessed Dion. Please, a card of clarity for your Virgo collective sun, moon, rising sign. What do we need this full moon to new moon next in this Virgo collective sun, moon, rising signs? What do we need? What do we need? Ooh, the Gemini card, also ruled by, yeah, let that camera focus, ruled by Mercury. Now, again, I always pointed out that, you know, the court cards in this deck, it's not Knight, King, Queen, Page at all. It's Maiden, Mother, and Crown, which I prefer, but actually you don't have to guess. I don't have to say, oh, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. No, it says right on the card Gemini. And that is Hina, I believe, Polynesian goddess, the Maiden of Blades. So there's something there about a Gemini, and I have to say in my readings, rarely do they represent people, particularly in these sort of reads, because we all have all 12 signs, 12 houses in our chart, though we may not have planets in those signs, but certainly it could involve somebody with a Gemini placement, just saying, right? Let's ask the masters with the Chuck Spezzano Love Pack. My masters, they're giggling, great. Please, one card for this Virgo collective sun, moon, rising sign from full moon to new moon next. What do we need? We got the warrior archetype here, which is pretty heavy duty, with blessings, and with this Gemini about gathering information and self-expression, third house stuff. Please clarify what's going on here. A clue, a tip, a hint. What do we need? Ooh, trust. Trust. I've said it before, when this card comes up, I will never fucking jump out of a plane unless that shit's on fire. No. Earth sign, earth sign, earth sign. Do. I only have 2 planets in Libra, Mercury and Venus, right? So, yeah. So, yeah, give me the earth any day. I'm down with it. So, without drawing any immediate conclusions here, this feels a little bit like a mixed bag. But that's why we're going to bring in, I love this deck, Whispers of Love. There's a writer and an artist. The names are in the link in the description box, as well as I finally got a PayPal Pay Me. So if anybody wants to make a donation, pay the Virgo. Every little bit helps, right? Every bit of it a blessing. Like, subscribe, and pay me. It's very Virgo. So my collective pantheon of angels, gods, and masters, please, 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 please. A whisper of love for the Virgo collective sun, moon, rising sign from this full moon to new moon next. What do we need? What do we need? A piece of your angelic, godly, and masterful grace. What do we need? Get to know each other. Oh, maybe this Gemini is somebody. Learning to meet another's need for love is important for a relationship to grow. Because relationships, you can't help but have relationships, right? Somebody cuts you off in traffic. It's a relationship. You have a relationship to gravity, you have a relationship to energy, you have a relationship to your body. But this is about making an established relationship grow. Now, I got to say, I don't have any current Geminis in my life right now, but I do know a couple of Gemini moons and a couple of Gemini risings that might apply here. So keeping myself out of this, I'm going to read this card of the warrior archetype. Now, look at that warrior archetype. Like, that's not just like contemporary. That's like very, very tribal. Every archetype has its light and shadow. That's why when I ask the collective pantheon of guides, masters, and teachers for the archetype that we are alchemizing from lead to gold, from shadow to light. So I'll read you the light first. Light attribute: strength, skill, discipline, and toughness of will, heroism, stoicism, and self-sacrifice in conquering the ego. Now, my take on conquering the ego has evolved. You know, I have a very strong background in Course in Miracles. Yes, I am a witch. Yes, I am pagan, but that doesn't mean I cannot appreciate and digest gradually universal truth when I come across it. A lot of people won't touch the Course in Miracles when they find out that the miracle is one of quantum forgiveness. Now, we don't want to forgive. We want people to suffer until you get unity consciousness. When one of us suffers, all of us suffer, right? So that thing, you know, about toughness of will, sticking to it, right? being strong, using your skill, being disciplined, which the root of the word discipline is disciple, but disciple to what, right? Well, let's look at the shadow. Trading ethical principles for victory at any cost, indifference to the suffering inflicted on others. No, Virgo, we could never do that. But when we're burnt out, when we're tired, when we're possessed by shadow, we certainly can. Because Virgos, we are incredibly strong people, and we are the servants of the zodiac, but we must serve ourselves first. So have you ever been so right about something that you wanted to win an argument that you didn't matter what you had to say to get your point across, to win at any cost? That's us, because we have lightning fast mercurial minds, but we're earth signs. So if you're particularly empathic, just keep in mind you can find somebody's weak spot and really do damage. That's the Virgo warrior. We can, back in the olden days, I could dissect somebody in 2 minutes, right? Plus I'm clairvoyant, and that's a real abuse of power. And what are the archetypes about? Power. Power. Why do you do it? Power. You know? So to put with that blessings, to be a blessing warrior sounds a little odd coming out of my mouth, sounds an awful lot like God warrior. But if really you bring that into that heroism, that stoicism, to kind of keep contained, keep everything behind the castle wall of the soul that needs to rise and be expressed and felt with, loved and healed within the self without it spilling over and doing harm, right? But then to channel those blessings through you and healing all. Dealing with Gemini. Now, people would say, well, I can't think of any two signs more opposite than Virgo and Gemini, but we're both ruled by Mercury, and we're both mutable. Virgo, mutable earth, Gemini, mutable air. So there is a natural affinity there, though it is an astrological square. I speak astrology. I'm not an astrologer. I just do it on YouTube. I can have a really good conversation, though. I speak it pretty fluently, but I don't want to do the math, to be honest with you. So what we need looking at here is really about, okay, get to work, get to the warrior's path, really go deep. Really go into what it is you do best. Blessed. Do best and do blessed. But with this Gemini, it is also about self-expression. Speaking the truth. But speaking the truth like an honorable warrior. Where is your honor in this? It is time to speak truth. It's time to collect truth. It's time to seek only truth. And then what do we do when we have that? Right? So we're going along, we're blessing. It's then to trust. Trust who? Trust what? Trust the process, trust the path, trust the truth that we're finding. And here's what I know to be true. Look, Virgos, sorry, I'm trying to put these back in the original order. We are ruled by the intestines. I mean, do the research on any of the signs, you'll see that there's a certain part of the body that is ruled, or that sign rules or is ruled by that sign. Flip and reverse that if necessary. So we can take in a lot of data and a lot of information, but it takes us a little while to filter it through, not just up here, but down here. How does it feel in the gut? Really, the intestines are second chakra. They're filters, right? So to trust that the process will show us as we are being honest, as we are communicating in a blessed way, as we are sticking to our path, conquering the ego. But to me, the only way to conquer the ego now is to give it its voice inside. It needs to be heard. It wants love. It's that part of us that holds on to fear, negativity to an extent, yes, but also it identifies with being separate from everyone else, and that's just not the truth of who we are. So it's not just do unto others as you would have them do unto you. It's do unto others because we're all one and we're all in this together. So as we serve others, we serve ourselves, and as we serve ourselves, we serve all of life. It's finding the ethical balance of that. And are you willing to compromise your principles and integrity to win at all costs? Or are you going to do what's necessary to stick to your path, whatever your path is? And one thing I know about Virgos, our element is sand. And apparently there are no two grains of sand exactly alike. So why would there be two Virgo paths, or really any two paths that were identical? As the Course in Miracles says, there is a highly individualized curriculum for every child of God. Well, they say son of God because it's very masculine pronoun, but it was brought through in 1970, 73, around there. But then get to know each other. That's what I find interesting. A lot of these readings that I've done this time for these what do I needs, these what do I need reads, it's often been about giving to yourself. So this could be get to know yourself, right? I mean, it's what it says, get to know each other. But what if that's get to know the ego, get to know the higher self, get to know and trust the truth of who you are? Because we are gathering information, but can we express it with honor? Stoicism, which means you don't cut people's heads off really when you want to, right? But you do the best to speak honestly and true and to be heroic, stoic, and to kind of keep your shit together as you move through, even when you want to fucking explode. Now, if this was a quickie read, I would have left it right at that. No, we're going to clarify. We're going to clarify what are the nature of these blessings. And we're going to start with Daughters of the Moon. My gods, my Dionysus, please clarify this card of blessing for the Virgo collective, Sun, Moon, Rising Sign, this full moon to new moon next. What do we need? The Ace of Cups. The Ace of Cups, a blessing of a beginning of love, of happiness. Now in this deck, it is literally called, if you can see on the bottom there, happiness, right? Naked lady in a waterfall crystal wearing happiness. Apparently that there's a freedom in that, a new beginning, a fresh purification, a purified, blessed beginning. I like that a lot. I'll take that. Thank you very much. Let's add to that now. One from the Master. So again, we're clarifying blessings. We've got blessings with the Ace of Cups. My Masters, please, one card in clarification for this blessing card in this Virgo, Sun, Moon, Rising collective. What do we need? Read this full moon to new moon next. Oh, what do we need? Ooh, about naivete. Now, naivete is a really interesting thing because Virgos, we're not naive, but the Virgin itself is often assumed to be naive, where what we are is innocent. There is a part of us that is forever untouched by humanity. There is a part of our soul that is kept back and away, untouched by what goes on in this world, right? But with the naivete is sort of the shadow of that, thinking that, oh, this blessing of this Ace of Cup is going to be this, it's going to be that, it's going to be this. Because if you look at the picture, the lady in red is standing with me. She sees the guy with the horns and the devil tail and the pitchfork as an angel. So there is a blessing there to accept that perhaps we are seeing things the way that we want to see them, to win at all costs, to get what we want at all costs, to get it in the physical as much as we can at all costs, without really stepping back and looking and taking in, well, what is the truth of this situation? Am I seeing clearly? So sometimes the answer to what do I need is to see truth clearly. Particularly because an ace is a potential. It could go anywhere. I know a lot of readers say, oh, someone's offering you your cup of love. To me, it's the beginning of an emotional experience, a seed that must be nurtured and grown. So it goes to the 2, to the 3, etc., until you get that boom, 10 of Cups. And then it starts over again. Yeah. So, so just to look at that. So imagine these blessings, right, downloading in. Or I'll do it from behind, downloading in. And with that can put us in such a place where we're not seeing as clearly because we're so what? Emotional. We're experiencing such a seed high. Do you ever have a first date and fall in love with somebody and then like 2 dates later you're like, oh. Now there's endorphins and dopamine and all sorts of chemicals happening. We go through a process called limerence, not limerence. That's an old man from Nantucket. Limerence, look it up, Limerence. It's like when we meet somebody, we fall in love, right? And get to know each other. Is that necessarily a romantic thing? It can be, but with this card of trust and get to know each other, like really put them next to each other. Trust and get to know each other. There's something unfolding here. You're only at an ace, but don't be naive. Be grounded. What are your boundaries, right? What's your honor code? What will you do? I mean, the warrior without an honor code is a nightmare. It's practically a mercenary, right? Gun for hire. Well, what is your honor code? What are your boundaries? What is it you will stand for and what you won't stand for? Our boundaries are always shifting like sand anyway. But not only do we need to set them, we often need to defend them and stand by them, because that's how you love yourself. That's how you shift your self-esteem. And by the way, your intuition is directly connected to how you estimate yourself. So boundaries are absolutely key in that, particularly if you're energetically sensitive, empathic, as am moi, divine feminine, me that I am, right? So then we've got this really, to me, not ultimately confusing. Again, there's that Mercury connection there. Somewhere flying over the fucking rainbow, right? It's like that could lead to some naivete. Squirrel, right? Distraction. I always pick on Geminis. I love them. That's why I'll never date them again. Bless their crazy little twinny hearts. So let's clarify that. Oh, you want to clarify that with an angel? So we're going to clarify that Gemini card with the angels. My angels, please clarify this Gemini card that the gods have given us for this Virgo collective sun, moon, rising sign, full moon to new moon next. What do we need? What's going on? What do we need with this Gemini? Oh, well, serenity. That's lovely. But what do we know about serenity? If you don't know the serenity prayer, here, I'll give you my version. Well, the standard version is, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Talking like a Gemini there. My version is, oh, good God, goddess, all that is, give me the serenity to accept this crazy shit going on right now, and the courage to go within myself and to love what rises and to deal with what's going on behind the castle wall, because what's going on outside the castle wall, I have no control over at the mo, and the wisdom to know the difference. So there's something serene here. There's something peaceful, or at least the possibility that if we can let go of our attachment to the way things are supposed to go and just be honest and just have the experience as it is, really particularly gathering information, like get to know each other without jumping in to that naivete that it's, oh, it's my true love. Well, I can't say twin flames anymore because twin flames are turbulent relationships. Go watch my video. It's in my catalog, in my backlog, in my on my YouTube channel, clarifying twin flame soulmates and true loves, because they're not all the same thing. They're different forms of contract, right? So getting to know somebody, I mean, this is sort of feeling that way, but that serene experience, right, can be very intoxicating and absolutely lull us into a place where our boundaries drop before they're ready to. So something to be aware of. Cross your legs, Virgo. Let us then clarify that with a Chuck Spezzano message from the Masters. My Masters, please, will you clarify this Gemini card with serenity for this Virgo collective, Sun, Moon, Rising Sign collective? What do we need reading for this full moon to new moon next? What do we need? Yeah, it's the erotic. We're getting laid. Or at least our Kundalini energy is going to start moving up our spines. But a serene eroticism, I'm down for that because I'm tired. I don't know about y'all. I'm tired. Summer was a lot of fun. Summer ain't over until Mabon, till autumnal equinox. Not tell me that summer's over yet. I'm a summer baby. Let the Libras handle the fall, right? A serene eroticism with some kind of Gemini energy going on, very playful, explorative, mutable, changeable, shifting, and that's why this naivete, keep an eye on that, because the child inside of us can very easily attach to a situation thinking it's one thing when it may not be. So what do you want to do? You want to be serene. The serenity to accept the things you can't change. I don't know where this is going. Let me not write stories in my head. Let me not create fantasies and fictions about what's going to happen. To be here now and enjoy the, you know, I'm going to say this, maybe you'll agree, maybe you'll disagree. But in my experience, Virgos are the sluts of the zodiac. We kind of are, because our boundaries, if we're really clear about it, we're very healthy about it, we can have a very healthy sex life. But we may really, and at the end of the day, want just one person, but finding them or them finding us can very much be a Gemini process of exploration. How much fun is that? Just be ethical about it, right? Be a sexual warrior. That sounds a little weird. An erotic warrior. That sounds really weird. That sounds like porn. Let's not go there at the moment. Okay, so now here we've got this card of trust. Now, what do we need? We need trust. Trust in who? Trust in what? Trust in a Gemini? Do we gotta? Is that scripted? So let us pull then for this a Daughters of the Moon. And then we'll pull an angel, and that'll be the last card down. I love tuning to Dionysus, particularly when the sun or any planet is in Virgo. And there's so many in Virgo right now. Please, my gods, my Dion, my god of the vine, please clarify what is this card of trust that the masters have given us that we need. We need trust. Please clarify for the Virgo collective sun, moon, rising sign, full moon to new moon next. What do we need? Celebration. Now, not just celebration. This is the card. This is the judgment card in this deck. I know it looks like the card of the world because they're dancing in a circle, but this is a card of revelation and final decision. These women look like they're out dancing around, you know, somewhere in nature, but if you pull back and look, they're standing on the belly of Gaia, the pubic mound in the foreground, the breasts and the well, that would be the back, sorry, the pubic bush and the pubic mound, sorry, in the background, the breasts in the foreground. Then you see things differently. Something is revealed. So trust that something is going to be revealed, that things are going to have that aha moment before completion of the cycle, that we're not quite there yet. They're reminding me, keep in mind that we're in the waning side of the moon here. So to trust that as we wrap up whatever is going on here with serenity, yes, it's a new beginning, that it doesn't say it's going to like within 2 weeks completely be over necessarily, but it is, well, why? Because this is minor arcana, this is major arcana. We might be making some very, very big decisions based on revelations. People talk about reconciliation. Well, reconciliation can only happen after honest communication, right? Clarity, truth, stuff like that. We almost did that. Let's finish this with an angel. Angels, up to you now. Last card down. Concerning this trust with celebration, right? The revelation, the reconciliation, the judgment card, the final judgment, the big life changer, the big revelation coming to us. What do we need, my angels? What do we need? What is the Virgo sun, moon, rising collective, this full moon to new moon next need? There's the children, all right? This is about our own inner children. This is about trusting that child within us and that child having our trust, right? That child inside of us, that now that naivete, oh, and it's on the same line too, that child with naivete, that we make sure that that child has our trust, that we say to this child inside of us. And how will you know that child? Well, before the first date, before the Ace of Cups arrives, we're like, oh, I hope, I hope, I hope, and then it hits, right? And then we're like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, it's my soulmate. Jump the gun much? A kid does that. A child does that. The innocence of our heart does that. But we got to say to that kid, look, sweetheart, we're Virgos this time around. I love you. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Let's just trust that everything will be revealed, that we are on a learning curve here. We're all learning. We're all growing. We're all evolving. And as Virgos, we have to serve ourselves in that way, to give ourselves the love that we want from somebody else. That's the nature of a twin flame relationship. Again, go watch that vid, and go watch Matt Kahn's Soul Contracts, Twin Flames, Soulmates. It's really good. His channel is amazing. I adore that man. Never met him, not getting any kickbacks from him. I'm just glad he's doing his work, right? So there's something about our own purity and innocence here, about seeing things with new eyes, but doing it wisely, trusting that the divine is going to reveal. As intuitive as I am when it comes to sexual romantic relationships, apparently I can be lied to. Why? Because I can fall in love like that. I've got the lover archetype in spades. I can be a little naive. Why? Because the endorphins are pumping through my system. Limerence, limerence, limerence in a pink fog, right? Until the other shoe fucking drops, right? I've dated more Jekyll and Hydes. Gemini. I swore them off. Blessed be they're wonderful friends. When they stop talking, they're wonderful friends. Kidding. But then here's that get to know each other. Isn't this just saying, kids, slow down? Slow down, right? Just to read this again. Learning to meet another's need for love is important for a relationship to grow. Well, what is your need for love? I gotta tell you, the more and more we love each other, It's great. The more and more we learn to love ourselves, really in the quantum sense, coming from the place of the higher self, right? The 8th chakra, looking down like from the penthouse, talking to the different chakras, talking to the cells in the body. Every cell in our body is a sentient being. Yeah, that made me cough too, didn't it? But think about that. We have massive influence over our own bodies when we are in alignment with the truth that we are, saying things like, oh, I love you so much. I love you. It feels narcissistic, but it's not. If it's really coming from a place of love and innocence, great things can be revealed to us. So as much as this is about get to know another, perhaps a Gemini, you know, all 2 of them in one body, maybe this is also about get to know that child within you again, reacquaint yourself, know that it has its dreams, that it goes through so much suffering when we feel like our dreams won't come true, right? But I've also learned that our heart's desires and our dreams and that stuff, it's part of our contract. It's part of the role that we agreed to play. And I'll give you a little hint, little thing that I was shown maybe a week or so ago, that they say, you know, they say to me, you were chosen to play the role of Mark A. Lyons. In other words, the soul inhabiting this body. I have a name for it, but I ain't sharing that online. Virgo. It's like you showed up at the audition. You wanted this part. You auditioned for this part. Of course, they put it in, you know, showbiz terms. I was in show business for a hot second in the 80s and 90s, musical theater and dance. Oh, I had so much fun as a modern dancer. It was so much fun. They said, but we chose you. We chose you. So get to know that child inside of you. Get to know your higher self. Get to know your path. Get to know what your needs are. Because from full moon to new moon next is that waning, and those 3 days before new moon is dark moon. It's the time of dissolution, of dissolving, of things breaking down so that we can begin again. So there's an aha moment coming at some point there before the cycle ends for us, one that we really can trust, and that child might very well be able to trust too. Cool. So I think this is the longest one I've done so far because it's us, Virgo. I'm always gonna give a little extra to my Virgo brothers and sisters, sandy bunch that we are. So I'll leave you with this. May the Virgo collective sun, moon, rising signs be blessed with all that we need this full moon to new moon next, that we may grow, that we may heal, that we may evolve, that we may become the very best that we can be and fulfill our roles in the divine plan in the most fulfilling and satisfying ways for the well-being of all. That I am now, and so it is. Thank you. Please donate if you're feeling it. Please like and subscribe if you haven't. And go check your other signs, because there are some pretty interesting readings coming out. I'm halfway through. I'm going to take a little rest, and tomorrow morning I will start with Libra. Cool. Wishing you the very best and the very blessed. But for now, my darlings, farewell and blessed be. Happy birthday.